Hi guys, Rumeko here. Today I'm going to be walking you through my deck tech of Atraxa Praetors Voice. Now we've seen this commander come with many different type of win conditions that have been illustrated very clearly for us on YouTube, such as Planeswalkers, Super Friends, Infect, and such degenerate combos. But today I'm going to be walking you through a more fair version that is creature oriented and has a couple of Planeswalker support, but mostly is going from the traditional counter-based creatures type of win condition. Now, I'll go through my deck list and then make a separate video that talks to the play style and potentially also do a game against another commander deck as a way to illustrate the win conditions and such. So super quickly, our land base here is 2 forest, 2 islands, a plains, 2 swamps, another plains, and that will be it for our basic lands. We have 3 fetch lands, which are Windswept Heath, Flooded Strand, and Polluted Delta. We have quite a many shock lands. We have Overgrown Tomb, we have Temple Garden, Watery Grave, Breeding Pool, Hallowed Fountain, and then we have quite a many, if not an exhaustive list of check lands: Drowned Catacombs, Woodland Cemetery, Isolated Chapel, Hinterland Harbor, Sunpetal Grove, and Glacial Fortress. We have the 3 storage lands that apply to our colors: Salt Crusted Steppe, Calciform Pools, and Dreadship Reef. We have all of the tricolor lands that fall in our spectrum: Seaside Citadel, Sandstep Citadel, Arcane Sanctum, and Opulent Palace. We have, I guess, our another tricolor land, if you will, Murmuring Bosque, which has 3 of the 4 colors that we want. It's another Abzan variant. We have Reflecting Pool, which will give us any color that we already have or can produce. Command Tower, staple and commander. Exotic Orchard. Since we're running all but red as our commander's mana color base, this will give us mana that our opponents have, which likely will fall within our colors as well. We have Opal Palace for the +1/+1 counters. Temple of the False God for ramp. And Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth for giving all of our lands a black source. So moving into our artifacts, we have Astral Cornucopia, Contagion Clasp, Soul Ring, Chromatic Lantern, Prismatic Geoscope, Everflowing Chalice, and we have one artifact that's actually missing here, which is Contagion Engine. And once we get that, we'll add that into this deck. As for Planeswalkers, we have Ob Nixilis Reignited. This will be removal primarily. Nissa Vital Force. It's super easy to get her to 6 and then get her emblem very, very quickly. And with Atraxa, you can even keep her alive after the emblem. And this emblem will effectively push us over the top. Every time a land drops, we get to draw a card advantage out the wazoo here. We have Garrick Apex Predator with Doubling Season as well as the counters. We're going to be able to ultimate this very quickly. And since we're dealing in a creature-based deck, this will give us an effective win condition through a number of different ways. It's also a removal tool as well. But the ultimate will potentially push us over the top. And it's one of the backup win conditions. Garrick Primal Hunter. This is a draw engine, believe it or not. We have a lot of huge creatures that will stack up with the +1/+1 counters. We have Ajani Steadfast to rack up those counters with its -2 ability, and also potential ultimate target. Inexorable Tide. This is another proliferate engine, along with Contagion Engine and such. We have Oath of Ajani, which will give all of the creatures +1/+1, and also let our Planeswalkers cost less to cast. We have Doubling Season, which will give us double the tokens if we ever create any, double the counters on Planeswalkers as well as creatures. We have Cathar's Crusade, double the number of +1/+1 counters as well, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature, so it's great. Phyrexian Arena, which will give us a draw engine. Bred for the Hunt, another +1/+1 counter engine. Hardened Scales, very similar thing. Bow of Nylea, so all of our small and big creatures have Death Touch. It also has the ability to put +1/+1 counters, as well as give us some other relevant abilities. Abzan Charm gives us counters, draw, as well as removal. Very versatile card. Eldamari's Call to tutor up any of our creatures. We have Sylvan Reclamation for removal. And we have Cyclonic Rift for quasi-removal / its overload mechanic, where we can send up a lot of our opponents' cards back to their hand. Swords to Plowshares, staple. We have Anguished Unmaking, also really, really good removal. Exile non-land permanent, and you only have to lose 3 life at instant speed, which is great. We have Vampiric Tutor for tutoring up stuff. We have Vindicate, which is basically another way to remove. Destroy target permanent at sorcery speed. It can be any permanent. We have Demonic Tutor as another tutor. We have Languish, removal. Verdict Confluence for counters as well as recursion. Tempt with the Discovery for ramp. Genesis Hydra, this is basically Cascade on a stick. Endless One, so you can bring this out for just 1 and then just keep proliferating and make it huge. Vorel of the Hullblade, it's another engine to double each type of counter. Hangerback Walker, it's a great card. Gets a lot of counters. When it dies, we get to put as many Thopter flying tokens as we had counters on it. Viral Drake is our only Infect card here, but it will also help us proliferate to get those +1/+1 counters. So it's less so for Infect, more so for proliferate, but also serves as an alternate win condition. More in the creature base, we have Avatar of the Resolute, which is just a good, +1/+1 soaker. Gets a lot of counters for each other creature with a +1/+1. So for 2 mana, you get to bring out a huge creature. We have Lighthouse Chronologist that will, at its level 7, allow you to take many turns after each opponent takes their turn. So in multiplayer games, it can get devastating and close out the games very quickly. Draina is another +1/+1 counter engine. Colonian Hydra, stacks on the +1/+1 counters, guys. This is what it's all about. Elite Scale Guard, Corpsejack Menace, Abzan Falconer gives all of our +1/+1 creatures flying. Archangel of Thune, so that's lifelink and +1/+1 counters on all the creatures. And Fenza, it's exiling and the +1/+1 counters on your creatures. Rayhan, Last of the Abzan, very similar thing. You get to move your counters back and forth. Crystalline Crawler, very similar, kind of racks up a lot of the counters. It'll allow you to generate mana, ramp, as well as kind of it's a beat stick. On the last set of creatures, we got Master Biomancer, Fathom Mage for card draw with +1/+1 counters, Champion of Lampholt as a way to, close and finish off your opponents since they can't block. We have Una's Black card, so with +1/+1 counters, your opponents will have to discard a card for every time a creature deals combat damage to them, which can get pretty brutal very quickly. As early as turn 3 or 4, they could be discarding their whole hand. We have Juniper Order Ranger, more counter synergy. Forgotten Ancient, more counter synergy. Academy Rector is one of those unique creatures that doesn't have a lot to do with the counters, but more so we're just going to sack him or kill him or let him die to bring out Doubling Season. We got Birds of Paradise for ramp, Zagana for draw, as well as racking up the counters. Scavenging Ooze for counters, life, as well as exiling cards in your opponent's graveyard. Thrumming Bird for the proliferate, early turn proliferates. Avenger Zendikar, you're gonna get a crap ton of green plant creatures,
by turn 7 that once you play a land, they're going to get all +1/+1 counters, and then you're just going to go to town. This is going to wreck. It's craziness. Revelark to bring back some of our creatures. Gave, more counter synergy. Deep Glow Skate for, doubling the amount of counters on anything. And Chasm Skulker for more counter synergy, as well as getting blue squid tokens when it dies for the number of +1/+1 counters there are. So this has officially been my deck tech on Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I've missed anything or I should be adding anything to the deck that I already don't have in here. And we'll bring you some videos that talk to gameplay, mechanics, and potentially to show you a player versus player game as well. But hopefully this was a very different take on Atraxa's Praetor's Voice. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.